welcome back to my channel. It's me, Zara Kalala. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a fake cake, and mine is also a jewelry box, so it's going to have a double use, a cute decoration, and also somewhere to store some jewelry or little trinkets. So let's get into it. To make your fake cake, you're going to need a blank. So I'm using this wooden jewelry box. As you can see, it has 3 sections on the inside, and it also had this really nice magnetic closing point, which I thought was a really nice touch. So I got this from the works. And then to cover it, I'm going to be using this pink puffy paint. So this is just going to act as like fake kind of buttercream icing and give it that realistic fake cake, or sorry, even realistic cake effect. And I'm using a cake decorating kind of spatula just to spread this around. You could use a spoon or maybe a knife as well from your kitchen if you don't have something like this, or even if you want to be messy, just go in with your hands. I mean, puffy paint is quite safe to use and it washes off relatively easily. So you want to just go ahead and spread this all over your blank. As you can see, I'm just going to add more, and then I move on to doing the edges. So when you go and do the edges, don't worry about kind of the closure point. As you can see, like I'm going right over it, as we can just use a knife to separate this later, and that way it makes it easier just to go around the whole cake and not have to worry about, you know, avoiding that closing and opening point of your blank, or in my case this wooden jewelry box. So if you can, just avoid going over any of these like hinges, as the paint could dry quite hard and it might make it quite stiff to open. Once you've finished putting on your base of puffy paint, you can just rest this on a cup just to leave it to dry. And once it's dried, you can take a craft knife and just drag this through the crease where it opens and closes. You might have to go around it a couple of times just to ensure that you've cut through the paint. So while that was drying, I decided to make some white fake buttercream icing. So I'm actually doing a similar technique to making slime. So I've got some clear PVA glue, some foam clay in white, and I've got a piping bag, a disposable one, which I'm going to use to pipe this on in a bit, and then this kind of shell piping tip, and then a piping tip connector. So I set up the piping bag, put the tip in and screwed on the connector so that I was all ready once I'd finished making the fake buttercream. So to make this, I added some glue to the foam clay, and then I used that kind of icing spatula I had earlier just to mix this all together. So I didn't add too much glue at first. I wanted to kind of test the consistency here, and what you're looking for is kind of melted marshmallow consistency, and I hope that makes sense. I don't really know the quantities I use, so I'm really sorry, but you know, you could look up some slime recipes as well. Just make sure it uses PVA glue so that once it dries, it's like goes a bit hard. And then I also added some water just to thin it down slightly, as the glue is, you know, quite gloopy and stiff. And then I was really happy with this, and it was quite nice to pipe out. So yeah, you can always add some water just to thin it out as well. And once I was happy with this, I then put it all into my piping bag. So be careful here, you don't want to fill it up too much, otherwise it's going to like burst out the wrong end. So as you can see on my piping bag, there's actually a fill line as well, and I just pushed all my kind of fake buttercream down to the end to remove any air bubbles, so that once I was piping it would be like nice and even and there wouldn't be any like pops or big splodges, as that's what happens when you can get like air caught in it, and we really want to avoid that. Once you've finished filling up the piping bag, just give the end a little twist and you're ready to start piping. So you can do a few practice pipes as well, and I just did this on the lid of the clay that I bought, making sure that it's piping nicely and it's coming out as I wanted. Then I went around the edge of the heart box. So the pink puffy paint was dry by now, and yeah, it meant I could just go ahead and start piping. So it did dry quite quickly. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it shouldn't take too long to dry, especially if you do quite like a thin layer and it's not too thick. So I went ahead and did one side, and then I did the other side You could go all the way around in one go if you wanted. I don't know, I just kind of preferred this method. To make it easier to pipe the bottom edge, you can grab a cup or a mug and then get some blue tack and put this on the bottom. Then you can press your fake cake onto this, and then you can kind of use that as like a handle or a stand so that you can do the bottom edge. So you could wait for your top kind of fake buttercream to dry, but you don't want it to dry in your piping bag and then it will be unusable. So it's probably better just to do this method and kind of do it all in one go, and also you'll be able to kind of see your finished result a lot sooner and you get that instant gratification, which I love as I can be quite impatient. So as you can see, it's kind of on the cup there, and now I'm able to pipe the bottom. So I did the same thing using the same method and the same piping tip, going around the base, getting that nice kind of shell shape. So to make it look more like a realistic cake, I bought these fake cherries from Amazon, and they're really nice and shiny. I really like how they look. And I just piped on some more of the fake kind of white buttercream onto the top, and I dotted 6 around the top of the cake. So this is actually looking like really delicious to me right now. Let me know if you think I should actually bake this in real life. I also wanted to put Hello Kitty on this. Obviously it's a Hello Kitty themed cake, so I actually 3D printed this and painted it with acrylics. Then I grabbed my puffy paint and just like a star tip, and I stuck on these clay Hello Kitty bows. So unfortunately I forgot to film half of the process of making the bows, but essentially I used a biscuit cutter and some polymer clay just to get these bow shapes. And yeah, I'm just using the puffy paint to kind of stick these on. You can use glue as well, you don't have to do this method. And then I also used the puffy paint just to kind of fill in the gaps of the star tip too. Then lastly, I glued on the Hello Kitty with some E6000 glue. You could use super glue as well, there's no issue, it's just the glue I had to hand. And here is the final cake. I'm super pleased with how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. Let me know what you think of the cake and if you're going to try it yourself. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye!